very good. How are you doing?
Nice to finally meet you.
No, pleasure to be here. Oh, how lovely. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Some great costumes out there. Hi. Hello.
Yeah, there's a lot. We got a couple Peggy Carters.
I love it.
You got a Vision over there.
Oh, yes, with the Union Jack as well, I see. Captain Carter. And the shields. I'm so grateful that Marvel made her so distinctive in her color scheme, because I look out and I can spot them really quickly.
Yeah, there's a lot more out today than yesterday. This is a pretty good crowd of cosplay. Are you enjoying the convention so far?
I am. I mean, I just arrived, so far, so good. I literally on a golf buggy about 30 seconds ago in this incredible heat, which, coming from London, obviously it takes a moment to acclimatise to. But I love it. It feels like a massive warm hug from like a family member that for the first 5 minutes you're like, this is so nice. But then like, this is a bit too much now.
You like the heat, but not this much.
Yes, I love the heat as long as I know I can kind of go into an air-conditioned room and just kind of calm down. Otherwise I won't be able to, if I'm in heat for too long, I just pass out like most people. I just kind of go to sleep like a cat. Just leave me alone for a few minutes in a room and I'll just be asleep.
Well, I'm from New York and I have people on social media that are complaining that it's 95. I'm like, come down to Texas.
Oh man, we had a heat wave in London and we're not used to it. The infrastructure's not built for kind of heat waves like that. And I live in an old house, and to keep my dogs cool, I put these wet towels in the hallway, and within about 10 minutes, I was in my swimsuit on the wet towels myself in the hall, just like staring up at the ceiling. And I remember thinking, I know I could just go and have a cold shower, but the thought of having to climb up the stairs right now is not doable. It's not going to happen. I stayed on my floor of my hallway for about 2 hours. My dogs were like, hi, it's for me. What's going on?
Excellent. So, I was wondering, because we got everybody dressed in Marvel, so we should go right into
We should go straight for what you guys came for.
How did you get the role back in Captain America long ago?
Oh my gosh, we're talking about 10 years ago. I wasn't particularly familiar with the comic books at that time, and that was sort of, I suppose, the first wave of Marvel becoming what it is now. But back then, it wasn't as known, so certainly not in my consciousness. And so I got an initial audition, and then a screen test came a few weeks later, which was, from what I can remember of it, I learned about 10 pages of dialogue, and it was actually the scene where she's speaking to Steve on the phone at the end, so it would be an emotional scene. And I had to do stunt choreography with the team. They wanted to see how quick I could learn a piece of choreography, how coordinated I was, if I was to fall over myself and make it a farce. And then a little bit of kind of gun work, loading and unloading guns. But I think the thing that got me the part was the emotional stuff. So the phone call with Steve, having to be in a room in a studio outside of London with a film crew who you've never met before, with cameras and lights, aware of the pressure of going, if I got this job, potentially could be a really exciting, big challenge for me. And I had only up to that point done a lot of theatre, and I'd done like adaptations of books and period dramas, so this was unknown territory. And I just remember thinking, if I could just be truthful to the emotion of what this scene is, then I'll come away feeling like I've done a good job, regardless of the outcome. And I remember this guy he was called Richard, who was the first assistant director, and on cut, before we began the audition, he was like, okay, Hayley, so stand over there, on action, say your lines, do your bit of acting, and then we'll cut, and then we'll just do it again if we want you to do it differently. All right, yeah, cool, yeah. Wasn't really making eye contact, was very busy doing lots of other things. And then on cut, there was silence in the room from the crew, and I looked kind of like, what's going on? And Richard was like, yeah, I think we got it, yeah, it was great, yeah, is everyone alright, yeah, it was good. And I was like, oh, I got it, yes, I made him cry, and so I suppose that was the moment where I thought, okay, that's the kind of thing they're looking for in a comic book heightened world. They're wanting to find a performance that centers something with an emotional truth to it, because they want the audiences to really engage with the character stories as well as the great big elaborate action sequences. So that's where it all began.
Okay, cool. We also solicited some questions